Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. Thanks for joining us. We've got a lot of great information here for you today. This is Brian Ali. Before we get started on today's webinar, we have Joe Mashiri, who is joining us, our Assistant Director of Fixed Operations, and he just had a word for us. Joe, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Brian. And welcome, everyone. And it is great to be here with you. And I just want to say first and foremost, I know how precious your time is, and we appreciate it very much that you're taking the time out of your day to be with us and to walk alongside us as we try to help you, our dealer body, really engage in the parts and accessory business. And particularly speaking, this is a webinar series that Brian and other folks have put together for you throughout this year. This particular one focuses on optimizing your wholesale parts business. And I think for all the parts managers that are on today and others, you guys know that we have a tremendous amount of support in this part of the business with our wholesale field operations specialist, as well as obviously Brian and the rest of your FOM team working collectively with you to help grow your business. So we know that after a few very strong years of wholesale business with year-over-year increases month after month, year after year, this year, it got a little bit challenging in a few months for us earlier on in this year. And I think over the last couple of months, we're starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel with some year-over-year increases again. And that's a great sign, and albeit a very good time for us to kind of put a finishing touch on the 2023 year for our parts business. So with that, thank you so much again for joining us, and I'm going to turn it back over to Brian Ali. And go ahead, Brian, take us away.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. We'll run down the agenda really quickly. We'll start off just, why should you be in wholesale? What you can do today with existing resources, not necessarily expanding expenses, but what could you do today to grow wholesale? Ralph will come on and talk about those next level ideas and programs that you can use to really grow and develop your wholesale business. I'll be finishing up with an overall development strategy for your wholesale. That's my contact information there on the bottom of the screen. On the right there, you'll see a note about sending us your questions. If you've been on our webinars before, you'll know that we do take, everyone's line is muted right now so that we can flow through the material. However, we do encourage and we do like to see your questions so that we can answer them at the end, which please stick around for that at the end. Just a quick note on pricing. Anything we talk about here in terms of pricing, it's for illustrative purposes only, and that we'll just leave it there. Okay. Next up, just wanted to let you know this webinar today on wholesale, it is a continuing series, as Joe said. We had a couple of webinars earlier in March and June. Those webinars, in case you missed it, by the way, it is on our YouTube channel, which is highlighted there on the screen. These are really designed for the busy parts managers who don't have a whole lot of time. We try to keep them to 30 minutes as best we can. This wholesale webinar that we're doing today will be posted there within a few days also. And then please join us December 6th. We'll be doing an additional webinar on sales, people, and inventory management. And that should be a good one there that I'm sure a lot of parts managers are going to want to hear about. As we go to the next slide, please. I wanted to get started by, I showed you my contact information here, but really who you're going to hear from on this webinar is not really me, and it is our wholesale field specialists. So for those of you who don't know, Volkswagen has dedicated an entire team. We had a handful of people that were taking care of our wholesale and developing our wholesale for our dealers. Last year, we made some big changes. We expanded our field. We greatly expanded our field. We did give them responsibility for Audi wholesale as well. However, they're now more localized, and they are there. You see Ruby, Jeff, and Ralph, who will be presenting for us on this webinar, has most of the Northeast region there. Jimmy Cashwell has our West Virginia dealers, and he'll be hanging on for the Q&A as well. And go to the next slide, please. Just before I hand it over to Jeff, I just wanted you to, this image of the fishing boat, I think I use this metaphor a lot. Roughly half of our genuine parts business, those parts are sold outside of the workshop. So they're not sold in your service department, they're actually sold to the outside. And what I just want you to keep this in mind, because every dealer is different. Some of you don't do a lot of wholesale, some of you do some wholesale, some of you do a pretty good job, and you're in different stages where you want to grow and maybe just don't know the next steps. This webinar we set up for all of you. So I think everybody on this call fits into one of those categories. And the thing I just want to keep in mind is optimizing. I know that every time we do talk to you about growing wholesale, one of the thoughts that might come to mind is that, well, I have to go get another driver, or I need to buy a van, and we don't have the resources. My general manager, my owner doesn't necessarily want the investment right now. And we understand that. Every business is different, every dealer is different. So we're here to give you ideas also on ways to grow your wholesale without necessarily growing your expense. With that, please let's go to the next slide, and I will introduce Jeff, Jeff is our Wholesale Field Specialist for Ohio and Michigan dealers. Go ahead, Jeff, please take it away.
Thank you, Brian, for the introduction, and thank you for all the dealers that are participating in today's meeting. I appreciate this opportunity to kind of walk you through some slides on why get into the wholesale business, current market conditions, and if you're not in a wholesale, how to get started by owning your own backyard. Getting started, why get into the wholesale business? Did you know the NER dealer combined parts volume through August is about $218 million year to date? That's a lot of parts. And the split of our business of workshop versus non-workshop for the average NER dealer is almost 50-50. 56% of the sales are on repair orders, while the balance is from wholesale or online sales. What percent of your parts sales are workshop compared to non-workshop? Does your parts department benefit from almost equal revenue streams? Next up is a slide on current market conditions for the collision industry. Post-pandemic collision events are more severe than before, and it's because drivers are driving faster and more distracted than ever. While body shops are having a more difficult time repairing these vehicles, and it's taking longer to complete the repair process, and they're doing it with higher labor costs. The longer cycle time is a result of several factors, but mostly from the increasing complexity with more technology being involved in vehicles today. So this translates into a body shop taking the path of least resistance and preferring to use OE parts whenever possible to reduce the cycle times and ensure the proper fit for vehicle reassembly. So what's the opportunity? On the next slide, we're going to take a look at the size and the scope of the aftermarket. The experts at Grand View Research, the global automotive, according to the aftermarket industry, was $427 billion in 22, and it's expected to grow this year. The United States makes up for $356 billion, that's with a B, of the total. And according to the experts at Aftermarket News, the US market is expected to grow double digits this year. The increase in aftermarket sales is extremely apparent, not only with aftermarket news experts, but it also resonates with Wall Street. Check out what our competition's doing. AutoZone was trading at $26 per share in March of '96, and it's had significant growth since closing at almost $2,600 a share earlier this month. The Wall Street professionals buy low and sell high. It means they evaluate a company's past performance and invest in the upside potential it has to become more valuable in the future. This AutoZone stock price is a result of Wall Street reacting to the upside of the aftermarket demand. Are we keeping pace with the competition? Are our dealers getting the fair share of wholesale part sales? It's important to make sure that we're holding our own ground and giving our competition a run for their money. Staying with the financial theme from this slide, we're going to show you a couple more benefits resulting from increased parts sales on the next slide. I love the parts performance bonus program. It's the way we can show you the money. This program is zero cost of sales and has zero offsetting expenses. So it's truly a bottom line contributor. And it's balanced to reward an increase in parts volume. The PPB program can also make up for discounts offered to wholesale customers up front and contribute to a positive revenue stream. Also, the more your wholesale grows, the larger stock orders become. The more you sell, the more you earn and buyback allowance. And 6% is nothing to shake a stick at. There are dealers on this call that support wholesale business and have very clean inventories, low obsolescence, and benefit from faster inventory turns. Moving on, let's talk about how we sell our parts and support our wholesale customers that are buying them. In the next slide, we'll have the traditional phone call method of buying parts is strong and alive today. But let's take a look and walk through that from a customer's perspective. Customer calls the dealership, asks for price and availability. Then they hang up and they sell the job to the customer. Then they call back to buy the part and inquire about when they can get it delivered. That's a minimum of 2 calls to your dealership for one transaction. There is an alternative way to sell parts. While getting on an electronic platform to take orders will never eliminate phone calls, it can significantly reduce the amount of calls coming into your department and enhance your department's daily productivity. The old saying of work smarter, not harder. And the question I have for dealers is, do you buy parts online? I know ETCA and Parts on Command are all online, but what about aftermarket parts used for used car reconditioning? Most dealers do, and if you're not online, you may be excluding a segment of your customers from doing business with you. Some IRF mechanical shops, they buy from the competition not because they believe AutoZone and O'Reilly are the experts of all makes and models of vehicles out there, but they do business with them because it's super easy and efficient through the internet. If you're not supporting online sales, are you excluding customers who would prefer to do business with you? VW also offers millions of dollars in co-op funds to assist to conquest competitive aftermarket parts with the Genuine Advantage program that lowers the customer's acquisition price to be very competitive with the aftermarket. We also assist with the cost of the electronic platforms themselves for qualified dealers at the CRM program. So the last 5 slides have covered the why. If you'd like some additional support on how to get started, or if you just want some assistance with a specific area of your wholesale business, please don't hesitate to reach out to your wholesale field specialist, Ralph, Ruby, or I. We enjoy focusing with dealers and hand raisers to grow your wholesale business. Next up, Ruby is going to talk about the most important person in the wholesale business, and that's our customer. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Jeff. That was great. Thanks for sharing what's going on in the marketplace today and why it might be a good time to jump into the wholesale business. Let's take a few minutes to take a look at ways to build on your business that you have today and beyond with one thing in mind, and that's your customer. You can flip slides. In addition to any relationship, and honestly, in any relationship that you have, the most important building block is building trust. Building trust with business-to-business customers is an ongoing process that requires consistency, integrity, and a customer-centric approach. By focusing on these strategies, you can establish and maintain a strong, long-lasting relationship with your wholesale customers. We need to start with a solid foundation. What does that exactly mean? Value. Our business, in our business, means the right part at the right price when and where your shops need them. This means having a solid inventory management process for your team, including lost sales tracking, bin counts, corrections, monthly reconciliation. It requires tools to help you compete in a busy marketplace, and Volkswagen Group of America finances a suite of support to help you dial into your customer needs and sell more parts. Ralph's going to get into this in a little bit. Every department in the dealership can be successful with the right processes and tools to help you build solid customer relationships and meet customers where they are. It's important to remember that talk is cheap, but communication is priceless. Whatever level that you decide to compete in the wholesale market, building trust with how you communicate is key to your success with your customers. Think back to a time when you received exceptional service. What components were most important to you? Well, I'm sure you've all heard this before. Timely and accurate information is on the top of the concern for our businesses. By responding to inquiries and quotes quickly, you have a chance to close a sale before your competitors. Ensuring that product information, pricing, and availability are accurate and up to date are important components in reducing your returns. Customers love personalized service. Letting your customer know that you're working on their request via email, genuine advantage notes, or a quick call out will definitely cut down on the number of calls coming into your dealership. Understanding the way they do business, how many bays they have, technicians, processes, and key personnel are all important pieces of information to help enhance your understanding of how to best meet their needs. You don't need to ask all these questions at once. You can use your CRM tool to track some of the information that you gather over time. Using this information will help reduce returns, errors, and increase your sales overall. Honesty and integrity about your capabilities, limitations, and pricing is also important. Even if you're not able to fill an order immediately, the faster they get the bad news, the more they will trust that you understand their business as a whole. Consistency and transparency of actions. What does that mean to you? If you offer delivery service, it's imperative that it's reliable every single day. If there are any changes, communicating these changes in availability, pricing, and policies immediately helps to build that trust. Each customer contact is a chance to win the next order, next customer, and build your business. Include your entire team and cross-train them where you can. This is going to help maintain your consistency and avoid part returns and lost sales. On the next slide, we're going to take a little bit of a look about your whole the center of the discussion is your customer. Keeping your customer at the center of every business decision you will make will help you get to the next level. This is a what's the expected return on investment? Will you be able to offer credit to your wholesale customers, and what other parameters? The most important thing to remember is getting it down on paper makes a difference and a positive outcome, as plans tend to shift over time. Next up is defining your area of focus. It's essential to define where you want to go and who you want to service. Some tools are right at your fingertips right now. The CRM Smart Maps, for example, is free to everyone. VIO, or Vehicle in Operation information, is available from your FOM, other regional sources, and your dealership. You can also look at your past purchases in your DMS and the CRM. It's also good to define whether you're going to go after IRFs or CRFs, or you're going to go after both mechanical and collision. Next up is your fulfillment process. It's good to understand how you're going to streamline the ordering process so that you minimize delays and reduce process duplication. Aim for swift order fulfillment and delivery. Collision shops may be happy with 1 to 2 deliveries a day, where mechanical shops may require parts within a couple of hours or less. It's important to have technical expertise. It's highly sought after. Train your staff up to have in-depth knowledge about the parts that you offer. This expertise will enable them to provide accurate advice and recommendations for upsells. Inventory. Most of you are experts at inventory. You must have the part or you can't sell it. But keep in mind, just like delivery expectation, this means different things to different customers. For example, most body shops don't expect that you'll have all the parts on the shelf, and they expect to wait for most orders. Their business model allows for this cycle time. Mechanical shops do not, however, have the same customer support options. Their clients' cars are down and they don't have as many bays, technicians, tools, loaners, and all the benefits that you might offer your customer. They don't expect to wait very long, and they do expect that you'll have a lot of these items on the shelf. This is another good reason to make sure that you and your team are tracking lost sales and have a wholesale testing source set up in your DMS. Quality control overall is great with OEMs. Obviously, people come to us because we have the best quality and fit in the marketplace. You're aware that many things can happen at various stages of boxing and shipping. Making sure that you have a process for your team, checking for missing or damaged parts, communicating potential issues quickly. This will earn you a lot of additional equity with your customer. Competitive pricing. When you're looking at your competitive pricing, using customer feedback on lost sales, along with researching your local jobbers and online competitors, is a great way for you to set competitive pricing for your wholesale department. Consider the information that you gather when deciding to add tools on the Genuine Advantage program. Like I said, Ralph will discuss that in a little bit. The next step on the honeycomb, and very important, is consider how each role in your parts team impacts the customer. What are they responsible for? It should be clearly stated, and everyone should be on the same page. Are they trained regarding your expectations for every channel? Do they know how you want them to answer phone, email, or electronic ordering? Having these answers written down, having the answers to these questions written down in advance will help you set up your team for success and keep you from having to put out fires. At the top of this honeycomb is you, the parts manager and the management team. So oftentimes I hear I never have time. Clearly, the solution to this is having a good plan. PDCA, plan, do, check, act. It's a standard for consistent improvement in our business. One of the most important roles that you have as a leader is taking away barriers to sales. It starts with everyone understanding their role, regular feedback, daily hacks like 10-minute meetings in the morning and in the afternoon to ensure everyone's on the same page. Listening to your team will help you anticipate the next steps, planning for future growth, and will help prevent more fires. Inspect what you expect. Have a system set up so you can make adjustments based on new information that comes in, such as internal policies and competitors. Customers really appreciate a good feedback loop where you can discuss with your customers and understand lost opportunities. You can then review this with your parts team, putting new processes into place and acting on the customer's suggestions show that you value their input. It's also important to have a good outreach. Identifying what outreach works for your time and your budget is really important. Is it an outside sales rep, a business development center, handwritten thank you notes, marketing flyers, community and association involvement? This is all food for thought. On the next slide, I'm not going to read through the entire slide, but just so you know, there are two things at your fingertips right today: training and marketing. There are tools within the Wholesale CRM and the Next Gen VW Cup Learning Portal to help you get your team ready and focused to sell. Marketing can take a variety of forms, and it's important to make sure that you have a consistent message. There's a couple of touch points that happen every single day. There are emails that come in to the dealership for parts requests, and there's the invoices. Is your team capturing all the information when they're on the email to make sure that you can market to them later? Also, invoices are not just legal documents. There's plenty of space to communicate your programs, your years of experience, hotshot delivery, and direct parts hotline. Many of the items listed here cost little except for time and effort. This may have you looking around the dealership to see if there are other people that do not sit in your parts department that can help you out. There's plenty of ways to come up with ideas and time to sit and do it when it's a problem. It's the best bet if you try to solve it before it becomes a problem. And I'm going to hand the next level information. Ralph's going to take it over for the next level and how to take your business there. Thanks so much for your time today.
Great, thank you, Ruby. So that's some great information presented by Jeff with some updates on the collision industry and benefits of wholesale, along with what Ruby presented on how we can grow our wholesale today with very little effort by creating value, building trust, transparency, and developing a business plan. So my section is taking your wholesale to the next level. So how do we do this? On the next slide, I want to start by asking two questions. First, what do your customers really want from you? Now you see Snoopy here fishing for some answers, and hopefully you can get yours by taking time to reach out to your customers and communicating with them. As you can see, each fish kind of represents a few things that our wholesale customers come to expect with their dealer partner. We've got quality, we got competitive pricing to help them maintain a healthy profit margin, about availability, customer service, being responsive and knowledgeable support, as well as the convenience of ordering through one of those platforms. I do want to share a result from a survey that was performed by Carlisle & Company on selling OEM genuine parts to the IRF channels out there. So what it found is that IRFs believe OE parts are seen as better for quality, fit, and customer service, but they're on par with non-OEM parts for availability, tech support, and warranty. The survey also found that OEMs are seen as lacking on price, margin, and delivery, and our dealers dramatically overestimate how many IRFs are willing to wait for that delivery of the part. So in reality, what this looks at is by meeting these expectations, we can help build strong relationships with our wholesale parts customers. So my second question is, how can VW and our wholesale programs help you reach your parts goals and objectives? So on the next slide, you will see here's an overview of the VW programs and support offered by our wholesale parts team. I'm going to touch on the four highlighted areas there: the CRM program, the marketing and analytics, the wholesale co-op, and then the Genuine Advantage. With that, let's take a look at what's available to you through the Genuine Advantage on the next slide. So Volkswagen maintains four programs that are designed to provide enrolled dealers with part-specific reimbursements for wholesale genuine VW parts. So under the Genuine Advantage umbrella, to support our body shops, we have Collision Link, Trax Collision, which is other known by OPS and CCC. And to support IRFs and dealer mechanical sales, we have Repair Link. So one quick stat from 2021 shows that these programs generate about 24 million additional parts sales annually with our dealers. So in the collision parts program, which is a price matching software to help with conquesting those parts with our collision shops, this was launched in 2010 as the first VW program. Then it was followed by OPS, Trax Collision, and CCC. And these programs were offered to body shops to take the advantage of using genuine parts when estimates call for the aftermarket. So dealers were able to compete with aftermarket prices due to significant reimbursements from VW. Now switch our attention to mechanical parts, and we see that most opportunity is within Repair Link and growing our mechanical parts sales with our IRFs. And when I state IRFs, what I'm meaning is independent repair facilities. And again, we want this business to come through our shops, but as we heard earlier, 50% of this business is non-workshop, and not all customers go into our dealers. So let's capture that business through our own backyard. Repair Link, which was launched in June of 2014 as an e-commerce platform, gives the ability to our shops to ordering platform to support the overall communication between the IRFs and the dealer. It's an all makes, one-stop shop, 24/7, it's always available. And it provides Genuine Advantage parts with discounted pricing on targeted parts to be competitive with our aftermarket suppliers. So after further discussion, talk with your management team, develop the business plan like Ruby suggested, get some feedback from your customers by having discussions with them. And you want to focus on growing your wholesale parts business, either on a collision program, or you want to go with a Repair Link for the mechanical program, or you just want to do both. How do you get that word out to your customers within your defined market area and start owning your backyard? On the next slide, this is where the wholesale CRM program comes into play for your business. The Wholesale CRM portal enables you to monitor your wholesale parts sales and your customers, as well as to communicate with your customers by using these unique marketing tools. It would also help you make business decisions based on analytics and reporting. So I love this program because it will help you to improve efficiency, it enhances customer relations, and it helps you make data-driven decisions. So all dealers, as mentioned earlier, have the base CRM, but you have the upgrade option with enrollment to the base opt-in and the Pro. And as you see here on the screen, we'll start with the base opt-in. So a base opt-in dealer, which is free enrollment, you will have access to standard reporting and analytics, the Smart Map feature, which you see on the left side of the screen, and that's an interactive map. And what that does is it gives you the ability to locate your customers where they're located and their loyalty segment, whether they're active customer, whether they're inactive, or a prospect customer. You also have the ability for Identifix technical hotline to offer to your customers, which is a technical hotline where if one of your customers are having issues with fixing a vehicle, they can provide this toll-free number and get support on fixing that vehicle. And then on top of that, you have access to a great team and Ruby, Jeff, Jimmy, and myself. And to add more value to this free program, your enrollment in RepairLink will qualify you for monthly email marketing to your IRF shops. So again, you don't need to go full throttle ahead and sign up for all these GM programs. Remember what I said in the beginning, know your customers, know what your customers want. So for example, base opt-in coupled with RepairLink is a perfect fit to get started and help you sell more mechanical parts at a minimal expense, because in most cases you have that inventory right on your shelf. Switching our attention to the CRM Pro, the Pro gets you really engaged and requires collision and mechanical GA program. The Pro level, which is an even more powerful tool, adds a feature of base opt-in, along with the ability to market to all your collision mechanical customers through email and direct mailer. It also provides you access to the full suite of the marketing and analytics, as well as the customer contact tool. Now, as a bonus, enrollment in the CRM Pro, along with one of the collision programs and mechanical program, will qualify you to earn wholesale co-op funds. So on the next slide, what is wholesale co-op? Wholesale co-op is a cost-sharing arrangement between VW and our dealers that helps subsidize part of your wholesale costs. So the benefits of the dealership are substantial, as you can see, most of them about 50% of the wholesale marketing activities. And by taking advantage of these funds, your dealership will increase part sales by introducing, say, variable speed with hotshot delivery, building close relationships with your wholesale customers, using these funds to establish, again, an annual business plan that we discussed earlier. Dealers must be enrolled as a CRM Pro dealer and meet the requirements in order to earn some of the wholesale co-op funds. As you can see on the screen, there are many ways you can utilize these funds to help support your wholesale parts business, whether it's for your GA programs, your personalized gifts for driver gear, hotshot deliveries. These funds are available to the CRM Pro dealer to help with wholesale growth. And we continue to add new programs as we get feedback from our dealers and as we get feedback throughout the country. And one of the latest programs, the Wholesale BDC. The Wholesale Business Development Center will make 20 outbound calls per month on behalf of your dealership to IRFs that have not purchased within 5 months. So there's a lot of times we don't, as parts managers, do we take the time to make calls to our customers? This helps that. These calls are designed to promote your customers' marketing offers, collect email addresses, present delivery solutions, and most importantly, generate a sales opportunity. So if you're a CRM Pro dealer, be sure you're taking full advantage of these funds by utilizing them effectively. If you're a dealer thinking of moving to the next level and want to learn more about earning wholesale co-op, give Ruby, Jeff, Jimmy, and myself a call. With that stated, I want to conclude with some best practices to dealers participating on the program, as well as a call to action to dealers thinking about the next steps. I'm not going to run through all these because most of the dealers on the Genuine Advantage programs are aware of the few listed, but it's a great reference tool to remind that without your engagement, these programs will not work the way they are intended. So respond to your requests promptly and through Collision Link, review open orders and submit claims promptly in CCC, send electronic invites informing customers you are participating on OPS, and review a set of new accounts generated through RepairLink. And on CRM, update that marketing message. These are just a few of the many that our team have encountered over the years of using the program from dealers and from dealers' input. So my call to action for you today is whether you're a dealer on multiple programs or on the fence of what direction to go and want more help, please contact your wholesale parts specialist or your FOM for some input. We will schedule time to meet with you and your team and discuss the wholesale parts goals and objectives. To wrap up the topic, I reviewed the tools and provided some ideas to help with growing and maintaining your wholesale parts business, and I want to leave you with a final question to think about. How do you show appreciation to your customers and thank them for the business? Do you visit your customers consistently? Do you send them a cool VW counter at the end of the year with some additional VW swag? Or do you buy them lunch for being a top growing wholesale customer of that month? It also could be as simple as a thank you call to your owner or your parts buyer that will set you apart from other dealers and help you take your wholesale business to the next level. Thank you, and I'll turn it over to Brian for some final thoughts.
Thanks, Ralph. I appreciate it. I'll go to the next slide, please. So we've given you a lot of information here and a lot of tools and a lot of tips on how to grow your wholesale. And a lot of you might just be thinking, okay, what do I do next? What's the very first thing? If I were you, I would just think about, okay, what are those lines that I want to throw into the water right now? Who am I trying to go after, and who is the wholesale customer? You know, Ruby talked about the needs of the mechanical wholesale customer and how they're a little bit different than, say, a collision shop. So I think that it's important that as you're starting out, as you're trying to grow, don't try to conquer, you know, the whole market all at once, but maybe start with one group of dealers. Go to the next slide, please. I think mechanical wholesale is a great way to start. If you're doing wholesale right now, or if you're just getting started, what we've always seen, and that map there we love, because it always shows the opportunity right in your backyard, just within a few miles of your own store, the stores that you're already doing business with, but the many stores that you haven't done business with. And as Ruby said, a lot of times those independent repair facilities, they're looking for speed, they're looking for the quality. They are not necessarily looking for the best price. In many cases, they're looking for the high quality part, but the part that will get that vehicle off of their lift as quickly as possible. And just think of it in practical terms. You know, if you had a vehicle in your shop that needed a set of brake pads, you certainly wouldn't expect your technician to wait a day or 2 days to get their brake pads. So they're just some ideas that we've presented that could help you conquer some of that business and own your backyard. As we go to the next slide, please. One other area that you should take a look into is the CCRF program, the Certified Collision Program. It's another way to, I think, expand your circle with wholesale, where you either have your own body shop perhaps, or you have a body shop that you trust, that you do business with. You get them on the program. It's a way to instill some peace of mind in your customers, ensure that the factory standards are being adhered to. It also ensures genuine parts usage. That's good for the customer, and it's good for us as well. And then again, you can market yourself to your customer as a one-stop shop. Anything that they need for their Volkswagen, they can come to you. You're the source. And there is a dedicated website there, vwcollision.com, where you can get more information and customers can get more information. Next slide, please. And as we start to wrap things up, and we hope that you'll stick with us through the Q&A, please. This is a summary of the many things that Jeff, Ruby, and Ralph went over. And I just wanted to take a minute, take this back with you. Everyone will be getting a copy of this and will have the ability to look through these things. Again, the Wholesale Field team is an incredible resource. It's not just the program, but it's the team. It's the folks that you heard on this call, and they're all available to you. And we don't charge. There's no cost for utilizing these incredibly valuable resources. So I would encourage you, please reach out to your Wholesale Field Specialist. And if you have questions about these programs or processes, Ruby mentioned a lot of processes that weren't necessarily a program that you have to pay for, but just a philosophy change inside your department, maybe a management style that you have to modify that will help you to grow your wholesale business. And we go to the next slide, please, and we'll get started with the Q&A in just a minute. I just wanted to leave you with some final thoughts about, optimizing your wholesale. Jeff started out with the why, growing your parts sales increases the gross profit, parts bonus, your buyback allowance, which helps you to manage your inventory better. Half of the business, half the genuine parts are being sold outside of your service department, right? And so what's your plan? What's your game plan to capture some of that lost business? That business is going to the aftermarket. The dealership across the way, the dealership that you think is covering your market isn't necessarily doing that. It's unfortunate we're losing a lot of that business, especially on the mechanical side, to the aftermarket. So recapturing some of that business in your own backyard it's a tremendous opportunity for you, and I encourage you to take a look. Genuine Advantage is a way to get your business into the next level, and then we have our wholesale CRM and marketing support, our marketing co-op support that we can work with you to help you to grow. On the right-hand side, some resources there. Again, at the very top of the list, how can you learn more about wholesale? Contact your Wholesale Field Specialist. If any of you are coming to NASM, please take a look at us with the parts and accessory booths for both wholesale and parts and accessories. We also have our marketing, our after-sales marketing breakout sessions and booths as well, where you'll get some more information. The wholesale microsite, wholesale.vwserviceandparts.com there, an amazing amount of information. Please take a look. And even if you look and you get just one idea and you start with one thing today, it will help you with your business. Finally, just announced the Wholesale CRM, which is a phenomenal tool. I don't think any other OEM offers something even close to the Wholesale CRM as far as giving you a tool to help you identify opportunities for growth in the wholesale business. They are making even more improvements, and they just announced a webinar for next week. And there is a registration link there where you can go and learn some more about that. With that, we'll go to the next slide, please. We'll get started with the Q&A. We appreciate you hanging on with us. I'm sorry we did go a few minutes over what we intended, but for any questions that you may have, we will hold on and answer everyone that you have. Before we get started with that, while you're typing your questions in, we just wanted to know, I know that John Peterson, who is our Director of Fixed Operations here in the Northeast, I know that he did probably want to pop in and say hello for a second. John, are you there?
Hey, thanks, Brian. Yeah, I'm here. I appreciate that. Guys, listen, the wholesale business is obviously a critical part of the entire aftermarket, right? And so, as several of the folks said, generally it's about 50% of our parts stay in the dealership and 50% go outside. And so with that opportunity that exists, I think they presented a lot of great information, the size of the industry, that Jeff talked about, and then some of the tools and initiatives that we have in place, from the CRM on through that Ralph spoke of. So just certainly encourage you to do everything you can to maximize that. When the IQs were launched back in 2018, I guess it was, they were in their infancy, and we had a lot of data, but you couldn't mine it very well or extract it very well. The IQs are as robust as I've ever seen. After sales marketing is phenomenal, but as well as, parts IQ. So when you see those maps that are in there and you see the dots of where the customers are and the potential customers are, folks, utilize the IQs. It's there, and business is strong. We came off 2021 with a record year. We followed it up in 22 by a record on top of a record. And in 23, it's not as strong, or we're not setting record months. But when you think back and say, those two being record years, and we're on par with 2023, business is still really strong and robust. So certainly encourage you to do everything you can to maximize inside of the workshop as well as outside. And then one plug here, we're about a week away from a month end and quarter end, so please pay particular attention to your accessories. What I will also say is that we're shipping vehicles to your dealership now where we've had to remove some accessories. So, and the reason being is we had some cars that were on the Mexican side of the border that are now flowing into the U.S. And in order to get them to dealers quicker, we're pulling some of the accessories off to save a couple of days. And so our loss is your gain. And so please take a look, see what new vehicles are coming in, what accessories are on those. And every vehicle should go out with the Easy 3, right? It should go out with rubber floor mats, bumper and roof cross rails. So I get it. Our SUVs are incredibly popular. Those 3 accessories do incredibly well, along with, you know, home link mirrors and extended range remote start and stuff like that. But please pay particular attention to where you are with your quarter end bonus. And, you know, there's some, matter of fact, I'm looking at one right now where if somebody places a $3,000 order, they get a $4,600 bonus. $1,600, that's nice, but listen, have a plan, work the plan. What's going on in used car reconditioning? Are you making sure you're talking with the used car sales manager? Again, get that commitment. Get those rubber mats in every vehicle. Get the bumper on the back. New vehicle returns. You know, customers turning in their lease vehicle. It's got a scuffed up rear bumper cover. $300 to repair, or you know, $150 in a bumper. So please work the last 8 days of the month here really hard. And with that, Brian, I'll turn it back to you, and we'll take on some Q&A.
Great. Thank you, John. I appreciate you joining. I know you got a tight schedule. We do not have any questions just yet. Just wondering if there were any other parting thoughts here from the rest of the team. On the line, again, Jimmy is joining us along with Ralph, Jeff, and Ruby. They are our wholesale field specialists in the Northeast region. Victor Martinez, who is our after-sales marketing specialist. He is also on the line, and wanted to say a thank you for Victor for helping us out with today's call. Victor, anything for our team with in regards to co-op or marketing in general for wholesale?
Yeah, Brian, thanks. So just as a reminder, you know, kind of thinking about the business holistically, right? On the sales side, on the service side rather, you hear a lot from the region, myself, as well as the farms, as it pertains to a number of initiatives. It's all focused on customer retention, all focused on generating those opportunities in your service drive. But again, when you think about the opportunity with selling parts, we can't forget what happens outside that service drive and over the parts counter. So as we start developing plans here for Q4, as we start looking into 2024, we will certainly be talking a lot more about that. For the folks that attend NASM, just know that we do plan to have the booths for wholesale and after-sales marketing close to each other. So if you're looking to have a comprehensive conversation and kind of walk out of NASM with a blueprint of what to do in Q4, we are certainly prepared to support you with that. And there'll be a lot more information coming. Co-op, obviously, for those dealers that have earned it, you've got quite a number of ways to invest it. If you need assistance with it, there's a number of folks you can reach out to help you out with that. Obviously, we want to do whatever we can to help you to increase profitability, but also grow your business moving forward. That's all I got, guys.
Great. Thanks, Victor. Unless there's anything else from the team here on the call, I don't see any questions, and which is good. Hopefully that means that we we gave you a lot to think about. And please do. Again, everyone is going to get a copy of this material, and you'll have all the contact information in there. And please go ahead and send us your questions. Send us an email if you have any thoughts about anything we presented today. So thank you very much for your time today, and we will talk to you soon. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.